When you think of the regional railway network in the Australian state of Victoria, the vline velocity trains is probably what comes to mind. But on a few select services every day, you get this, the NZ, a classic loco-haul train with carriages and engines dating back to around the 1980s. But are these trains still up to par? Let's find out as I take one of the very limited services that still operate with these trains out to Bendigo. Our journey starts from Melbourne Southern Cross Station, the main hub for regional and long-distance train services in the state of Victoria. And it's conveniently connected to the rest of the city's public transport network. But of course, we are not here to see trams, but trains instead, so let's head inside this massive station complex. And as the main departure board is right by the entrance, let's find out where our train is leaving from. We will be catching the 7:40 train to Swan Hill. But before we go, it's time to get a ticket. As Bendigo is within the Myki travel area, find one of the Myki machines and get yourself one of the smart cards that can be used on most public transport in Melbourne and its surroundings. But for journeys outside the Myki area, you'll have to go to the vline ticket office. As a major transportation hub, the station has plenty of amenities, such as toilets, and I really appreciate the free water refill. And there's also lots of lockers for storing luggage. These amenities are all found by the bay platforms vline serve. But up on the overpass, you'll of course get a great view of the station. You'll find amenities such as a fast food restaurant next to a dog food vending machine, which is next to the human food vending machine. In addition to the regional and long distance services operated by vline, the station is also served by metro trains.
Stops all stations to Hurstbridge.
Metro Trains is Melbourne's electrified suburban railway network. This network is actually fairly extensive, with over 400 kilometers of track and 16 regular lines expanding in all sorts of directions from the city centre. But as Bendigo is a bit further away, we need to head to the vline platforms. And here on platform 5A, our train is already boarding. Our train consists of 5 carriages. Pulling the carriages at the front will be a N-class locomotive. These were built in 1985 to 1987 by Clyde Engineering. They can reach speeds of up to 130 km per hour, but we are limited to 115 today by the carriages. And while every carriage except for one is from the 1980s, I chose to sit in carriage D today, which is one of the former Z carriages that have now been upgraded and converted for use with the NZs, and this one in particular was originally built all the way back in 1958. And after settling in, here in my seat in our 66-year-old carriage, we are ready to depart Melbourne Southern Cross right on time at 7:40.
Morning passengers, once again this is the 7:40 service through to Swan Hill.
On our way out of the station, we catch a glimpse of the overland train to Adelaide. This service has been threatened by closure multiple times and currently only runs twice per week. And as we navigate our way through the complex track layout taking us out of Southern Cross Station, let's take a closer look at the route map for today's journey. Our train is the 7:40 to Swan Hill. We'll be making stops at Footscray, Water Gardens, Gisborne, Woodend, Kyneton, Castlemaine, Kangaroo Flat and Bendigo, which is as far as I'll be travelling. This is a distance of 162 kilometers covered in 2 hours and 15 minutes, giving the train an average speed of 72 kilometers per hour. After Bendigo, the train continues to Eaglehawk, Raywood, Dingy, Pyramid, Kerrang and Swan Hill. One of the main disadvantages of the old NZs is their low top speed. Despite making fewer stops, the trip on the NZ takes 20 to 30 minutes longer than the services operated by the newer Velocity trains to Bendigo. The first 2 stops out of Melbourne Southern Cross are Footscray and Water Gardens. Both of these stops are pick-up only to encourage the short trips in the Melbourne area to be on metro trains instead. Eventually, we leave the electrified metro trains network and proceed towards Bendigo. So let's have a look at the seat we'll be traveling in. They come in a 2+3 layout and are very basic. The only redeeming quality is that they are very soft and well padded, but they lack any other kind of amenity. No armrest, no power outlets, no winged headrest, for instance. It's definitely pushing it for what's acceptable to provide for a 2-hour inter-regional trip these days, and I'm not sure I'd feel very comfortable had the train been busier. However, luckily there are some better carriages on this train intended for the passengers going all the way to Swan Hill, which we'll take a closer look at a bit later in the video. On our way towards Bendigo, we make stops in smaller places such as Woodend, which is a town of about 7,000 people. And when we are not stopping in the towns, we'll pass through some nice open plains. But should you get bored of the scenery, you can always go to the front and have a look at the engine. Or go for a little train tour. At the end of the carriages you'll find some space for luggage as well as a litter box. Despite this carriage being around 20 years younger than the one we were sitting in, it has basically the same layout as all these carriages have been refurbished various times during their lives. For instance, this one has been modified to meet with modern accessibility standards, with space for wheelchair users and level boarding at stations where platform heights match. There's also been added an accessible toilet, which looks like this. The door is easily locked using this knob, and the toilet is looking fairly clean. It's a modern vacuum toilet, and it even has the same toilet symbol as on German railways. The water was also working, albeit the pressure was a bit questionable. Continuing down to our slightly older carriage, you'll see there are not that much difference. Very similar seats and interior layout thanks to the many refurbishments. There's even space for bikes, although I'm not sure if this is official. Here in the middle of the train we'll find another 1980s carriage which has a slightly newer refurbishment, but is still roughly the same seats. However, in the second to last carriage you will find a small onboard cafe. Here's the menu, and as I shot this not long after leaving Melbourne, it still wasn't open. Continuing down the train to the last carriage, we'll also find the best carriage. As this one only features seats in a 2+2 layout, giving every person a lot more space, and there's also some seats with tray tables, which are great to see. And as we get closer to Bendigo, we have to talk about one of the weirdest decisions along this line. In 2006, the line was upgraded to allow for 160 km/h speeds for a large section of the route, as part of the regional fast rail project. But as part of this upgrade, the section between Kenton and Bendigo was strangely downgraded from double track to single track. This means that basically any benefits from higher speeds are kinda cancelled out by the fact trains now have to slow down and wait to pass each other at passing loop stations such as here at Kangaroo Flat. Not to mention the wait times and timetable havoc it can cause when there are delays. After a stop at Kangaroo Flat, it's only a few more minutes before we'll arrive in Bendigo, so it's time to sum up my thoughts on this journey. These NZs do feel a bit dated, and basically their only saving grace is the plush and soft seats. And if it wasn't because the newer Velocity trains also are a bit mediocre at best, I think these trains would really start to feel outdated now. It's probably about time that vline gets trains that are more adequate for these long trips to the state extremities such as Swan Hill. But at least trips within the Mikey area are very cheap. There's a daily fare cap of $10.60, meaning you'll never pay more than this for unlimited travel within the Mikey area. And on top of this, there are discounts for travel on the weekend as well as various concessions. So now that we are pulling into Bendigo station, I have to ask you, what do you think of vline in general and these NZs? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, as I try to post a new one every Sunday. You can also follow me over on Twitter at intercity-style. I usually post live from my travels over there, so it's a great place to get a sneak peek at what videos might be coming to the channel in the future. Thanks for watching.